thanks for what you do with your podcast and all the rest. You're doing a great job. Hope everybody keeps tuning in. You get a lot of good info, a lot of insights, understandings of how to get strong, how to stay strong, how to use your strength.
You do a great job, dude. You make things better than they are in real life, I think.
If you don't follow Massenomics, y'all do it. Social media, website, everything.
Massenomics.
Yeah.
Welcome, everyone, for episode 415 of the Massenomics podcast, the lifting podcast about nothing. It's usually about nothing, but it's not about nothing this week because we got a whole lot of something to talk about. We've got so many things on our list, and probably most importantly, we've got CT Fletcher as our guest this week, which is a bucket list guest.
That's damn near a decade in the making.
That's going to be a fun one that I wasn't sure if we'd ever get him on here, and we got it going this week, so that's great. We're coming back from the Arnold and got a lot of stuff to talk about there. But of course, my name is Tanner.
And my name is Tommy.
Almost talked too much without telling people what our names are, Tommy.
I would have forgot. I'm glad you remembered.
People would have got pretty confused. If this is your first Massenomics podcast, the first one you're ever listening to, you're in for a treat. You're in for a fast-paced, wild adventure that we're going to lead you down. But first, before we get too far down that road, I want to tell you about the Strength Co. They make the best made-in-America iron plates that exist. The best on the market, the best there ever has been, the best there ever was, the best there ever will be. I say that because it's fun to say it, but I also kind of believe it's true. They are the best plates. They're smooth, easy to grip, black E-coated. It's durable. It lasts forever almost. It looks awesome, and it has a great feel to it, and it has great utility inside the gym. We use them all the time in Massenomics Gym. They're the go-to plates there, and you can buy yours at thestrength.co. They've got them in all the usual sizes, of course, 45s, 25s, 35s, 10s, 5s, 2.5s, and then they've also got 100s and 1 1/4. So check them out at thestrength.co.
And this episode is also brought to you by Bearfoot Shoes. Most shoes harm your mobility by over-restricting your foot's natural movement. Bearfoot shoes are designed with minimal restrictions so your feet can move the way they're supposed to. Move with more strength and confidence in every step. Barefoot Shoes was founded by Chris Duffin, who attributes proper foot biomechanics as foundational to his success in squatting and deadlifting over 1,000 pounds for reps. He helped create the company to provide a minimalist shoe that can be worn for anything from deadlifts to walking your dog. Go to www.barefoot.store to check out the best minimalist shoes available. And while you're there, make sure to use code Massenomics to save 10% on your next order. Thank you, Bearfoot Shoes.
Tommy, it definitely feels like we have not recorded in studio for a while.
I believe there's a saying for this.
Yeah, you know what that means.
It's been a while.
Dude, I
did it to him.
I don't know if what's going on in the world, but I feel like I hear that saying 50 times a day in common life now. Just everyone I interact with is just saying that nowadays. I don't know what's going on.
That's just a function of the Massenomics podcast bleeding out into the zeitgeist.
It is. We're putting something out there because I'm getting a lot of that lately.
Do they have a button that plays the Stein song?
They do not. Actually, you know what was funny? I don't know if you noticed this. Even in our Arnold tour video, you're asking John Hack something, and he goes, about the Brendan Dassey thing.
It's been a while.
He goes, it's been a while. I don't know.
That's good. What do you got? A can over there this week? Or?
Oh, do I ever? This was I got orange here. This is orange. What? Oh, the cup. I forgot the cup. God. You got orange too? Did you grab orange?
With the twins.
Yeah, I grabbed orange also. So
what brand?
So we're twins.
What is this brand? Lidl? Lidl? Lidl?
I guess so. Exclusively at LIDL. So is that some sort of regional store of some kind?
And this came from our friend in Long Island, right? Or who
is that? Was it also the
wasn't it?
Cup
wasn't it?
I don't know. I cannot confirm.
I forgot his name already, and
I don't know.
I talked to him for quite a while, and I feel bad, but I cannot remember his name. But I thought it was the Long Island guy. Yeah, he has shaved head.
Yeah. So it's caffeine-free, sodium-free, sweetener-free, and we both grabbed the orange sparkling water flavor and had a crispy crack. Tommy, what's your first thoughts?
delightful.
Yep. That hits just right.
Just
That's
right.
everything you want in a sparkling water, and it pairs great with my Twins cup that I got.
Oh, yes, it do. Yes, it do.
We have a shitload of stuff to talk about this week.
We
I don't
do.
know how we could possibly get to it
We
all.
got.
We'll try and,
We just got to jump right in. I think we don't even have time to mess around.
we got to dive right in. We can't talk about weather. We can't talk about where we're from.
Although the weather has been nice, but we're not going to talk about it. But it has been nice.
It has been, but it's actually going to get a little cooler again for a while until it stays nice for the rest of the year. So it's been really nice. Let's actually just talk about the weather. It's been really, really nice. But I do see for the rest of March, it's going to cool back down a few degrees again. So we're not going to get like 60s and 70s every day for the rest of the month.
That's okay. It's been good.
All right. Now that we did get weather out of the way, there was no beating around the bush. We had to talk weather.
You couldn't stop us.
Here's big news this week. We have a big drop coming. So I guess we can just talk about all this because if you were at the Arnold, you saw all of these items anyways.
True.
But we've got everything. I got everything back in the Massenomics Fulfillment Center that was left over from the Arnold. And what we're left with is 4 new tees that were not on the website prior to going to the Arnold. And new means different things for each of these. One of those where it's less new is the squats tee. We just haven't actually stocked that for a few months. It's actually
It's been a while
since we've stocked that, but we do have the squats tee back in stock, so that's one of them. The other one that's like that's been much longer since we've stocked it is the Lift It tee with the Terminator-ish look to the vibe of the Lift It tee, and that one that's on that black tee with the white print, very iconic front print on that one, and we do have that one available now on the site starting Thursday. And then the 2 kind of newer ones, one of them is we've had our gym tee, Massenomics gym tee for a while, but for the first time now we have that on OD green, which looks really cool. Love that new one. One of my new favorites. And then another one of my new favorites is the Heavy is a Feeling tee, where this one's similar to the design that we had on Heavy is a Feeling gray hoodie earlier this fall, and now we have that on a t-shirt.
People like the hoodie so much, we used all of our skills and resources and we turned it into a t-shirt.
Yes. So those 4 tees will all be available starting Thursday this week, and that is, if you're listening, that's the 14th. So those should all be around by the time you're listening to this episode when it comes out. So make sure to check out any and all that, and everything else that we've got. Everything else that we got left is back on the site now. So go buy some stuff. We'd love to ship it out to you.
Do it. Also, YouTube's been popping off for us lately too. We've had a lot of action going on over there.
That's true. We're doing like 3 YouTube videos a week right now, counting the podcast.
That's really padding our numbers for thinking, are we going to get to 50 YouTube videos for the year? Remember that one? I believe that was the over-under number.
Oh, that's true.
We are
that's
really staying ahead of our quota there.
We're doing several interviews from the Arnold that are coming out. Omar Esoff interview came out today with the world's longest handshake. What interview? Dr. Mike interview we posted last week. Mm-hmm. We did our Arnold tour, which I really like that that video. It's just like a 5-minute long video of you and I going around showing off some of the highlights of the actual Arnold inside the convention center. And then Thursday this week or Friday this week or someday this week, the Arnold vlog comes out, which is kind of actually the biggest, longest video from the weekend.
It might be 3 hours long. I don't know. We're got to see what the director's cut ends up.
It's just like a 3-day-long live stream of everything that ever happened.
Yeah, we just live streamed everything the entire trip.
Yeah. So that will be a fun one. And then there's a few more interviews to come out even after that we haven't released yet. So stay on the lookout for the rest of that. We'll try and pump it all out pretty soon. And subscribe to our YouTube channel if you're not already. We're getting very close to the 5K mark. So it'll make me feel I'll sleep better at night when I see that is actually, in fact, over 5,000. Mm-hmm. And with your help, we could get there. I know there's a bunch of you people listening that have been slow to go hit the subscribe button. Just go do it.
Get it over with.
Subscribe. Yeah.
And then make sure to use all of your email accounts to hit that subscribe button.
Yes. Do we want to talk about the Hall of Fame?
I think so. I think we better get that one out there. Yes.
We got to talk about the Hall of Fame. So our big crew mailing that we've been talking about for several weeks finally went out when we got back from the Arnold. I had time to get the last of that ready and get them all in the mail. So we snail mailed out approximately 450 letters to a whole bunch of you listeners, all of you that are supporting members. Either will have your letter already, or if not, probably means you live a long ways away and it's on the way, or your address changed and it's on its way back to me. And I'll have to reach out to you and say, well, what is your new address? You failed to tell me you have a new one. But for most of you, you will have it in hand. And what is that thing, Tommy, that they've got in hand now?
Well, there's a few things that they'll have in hand. The first thing
Yeah.
that they'll get is an envelope that has important information regarding their Hall of Fame status. Once you open the envelope, there's a little sheet of paper that provides some context to the directions to the Hall of Fame and how that works. And then you also have your Hall of Fame membership card, your Hall of Fame punch card, maybe even is a better way to put it. And do we want to go through all the details of the whole thing for people that aren't aware, or? What do you think?
I guess I don't know if we have to go through specifically what all 16 of them are, but we can give a
We'll
rough
keep it
idea.
high,
You know, some of it, it's a mixture of. So what you need to do is you need to check out a certain number of these, and it gets you a certain status level, a certain level within the Hall of Fame, and there's kind of commemorative prizes to go along with the level. So if you mark 12 off, we have a special Hall of Fame silly pint that only members of this can get, and if you mark 15 off, we would have a special challenge coin that only the 15 make it. And then also the website that goes along with this is massenomics.com/HOF.
Yes.
And that's where those that make it into the Hall of Fame, once you make 12, you get your name and handle in there. If you make 15, then I think you get your picture and a small quote to go in there. And if you get all 16, a perfect blackout, then you get like a special designation within the site.
Yep, you get to add a short message along with a photo, I believe was the other thing. Yes.
That's at 15, right?
Yeah, yep. Sorry, are you talking 15 or 16?
Yeah, because 16 we have a
yes, okay, yeah. 15, yep, you get the challenge coin, and you also get to add a photo along with a short message into your entry in the Hall of Fame, which is a lot of bragging rights right there.
Yep. And then, but if you get 16, what did we say? You're the highest of achievers.
You are a master completer. You have completed every challenge.
You get the title of master completer. Yes,
and then
which is the highest honor.
Yes, which I mean, I don't know what else anyone could want in life other than that title. Might as well put it on your LinkedIn too.
So we've got a few people that have already hit that 12 threshold, and you actually mailed out some Hall of Fame silly pints today. So be on the lookout. But like what they are, there's 16 of them, and it's a mixture of listen, hit certain thresholds of listening to the Massenomics podcast. Some of them are, like if you own a Massenomics drink spotter, that's one of them. So some of them are kind of like buying things from us, but a lot of them aren't really buying things from us. A lot of them are, have you ever come to this event before? Have you ever been to Massenomics gym before? Like
have you been on Unpaid and Underrated before? Right.
Have you ever had your voice on the Massenomics podcast before? And that sort of thing. So a wide variety that anyone is able to check off some of them. And
the week's not over.
As much as anything, there's bragging rights that go along with it.
Yes,
right?
and the week's not even over. We're only we're halfway through the week, and we already got 4 names on the 12 achievement list. So I believe that will be growing a little bit. I'm very curious who's going to be the first one to hit 15, though.
It's not easy to hit 15. Hitting 15 requires a lot of in-depth completeness. I think 12 is very doable for a lot of people, but 15 will be very hard for very many people to. We will get there on some of them. On some of them are even just being a supporting member for a certain period of time. So some of it just takes time. A couple of them reward people that I guess signed up longer ago. So yeah. We thought it was pretty fun. We're enjoying seeing how that's playing out for people, and we'll be happy to see. I don't think they've all gotten to everyone yet, so not everyone's seen it yet. But by the time this comes out, this recording is live. I think a lot of people will have seen it by then. So we're recovered from the Arnold. I'm over the Arnold flu. I definitely got the Arnold flu to a certain degree. I wasn't overly sick, but I just did not feel all that well.
For me, that's what I'm getting right now, but it's definitely coming from my kids. Man, I actually had trouble sleeping last night. The mucus throat thing, God, it is just not pleasant right now in our house.
Yeah, I get I just get run down from all the not sleeping and all the traveling. And then once we get home from the Arnold, it still takes me it takes me a week to get all the Massenomics inventory and merchandise back to where it goes and counted in inventory and things put away. And that is all done now. So that's such a relief when that's over for the year that I'm like, yes.
Stability once again.
A little bit of breathing room. Yeah. And I can actually like pack order. Yeah. That's the other thing. Like when we get back, there's a lot of orders that I have to fulfill.
That have been piling up
because
over
I haven't
the last
been fulfilling
week.
them for 5 days. So it's just like a perfect storm of Massenomics stuff right there. And then also life stuff because there again have not been at my home for almost a week. But I am pretty well caught up on that. I am no longer sick, although I am pretty much immobile at this point.
So
because
we have not
I had
talked
a
about
horrific
this
injury. Yeah.
and I also have a theory that goes along with this. So first, bring me up to speed on what the hell happened here, Tanner.
Yeah, I had some joking aside, a quite horrific injury. Certainly the most I've had a few lifting injuries over the year where I've torn my ACL and my meniscus. I tore my bicep
surgery.
Flipping a tire. Yeah, I had surgery. I didn't have surgery on the bicep. I did have surgery on the ACL. And then just other like more moderate things. I could go down the list.
Aches
That's
and
not what
pains
this is
that
about.
are always present.
Yeah, stuff like that. But this was the most painful thing that's ever happened to me as far as an injury like that by far. I dislocated my ankle.
Oh, you actually dislocated it.
Yeah, I dislocated my ankle. It was actually what happened is, I was playing basketball, which most people could guess it was dune ball related, and it was almost not a matter of if something like this would happen, but when.
Mm-hmm.
And the when was this last Thursday. And we'd been playing for like an hour and a half already, and I do not have the ability to ever stop, even when it's a good time to stop. And it's like being out the bar, and everyone says, "Oh, well, let's just have one more."
That's what happens. I can't stop this good time.
Yeah, and then like you don't want to stop when you're at the bar. It's also like playing noon ball. I really don't have a good internal ability to shut it down, even when I'm probably more as fatigued as I need to get and stuff, but it's just too fun. So I don't want to quit. So we play one more, and about like 30 seconds into that one more, I was just about walking to the locker room to be done for the day. And then about 30 seconds into playing one last final one, this happened. And it wasn't, you'd think I've sprained my ankle in basketball at least 10 times in my life.
Mm-hmm.
Like my ankles were not, they did not get made in a way that's great for basketball, like my connective tissues on that. And I've sprained my ankles a lot of times, but this is a lot worse and I've had some really bad ankle sprains, but still nothing quite like this. And it wasn't like jumping and landing on someone's foot.
Oh,
that's what usually happens.
Yeah.
I almost kind of blacked out of what even exactly happened, but I was just like making like a backdoor cut underneath the hoop, and someone threw a pass, like led a bounce pass in front of me, and it was just a little far out in front of me. And I just took like, I was running, and I took like an extended fast step, and I just like stepped on the side of my foot.
Really?
And and if you would have watched it, it would have looked like somebody shot me, when people do those sniper videos.
Yes.
Like that's how hard I went down, and I was immediately cursing. Like it wasn't like, I rolled my ankle. It was like, holy shit. Like what happened here? Something is bad. And I was on my back and looked at my foot for the first time. My leg was going straight, and my foot was still angled in at like 45 degrees.
Oh,
yeah. And it was like, it almost put me in a little bit of shock because it looked exactly like when you see on TV when somebody, when their leg is
that your first thought is I broke something?
Oh, immediately. Actually, my first thought is like, oh my God, there has to be a bone sticking out of my body somewhere. like that's how bad it was. And I lifted my leg towards, my initial reaction was like, I guess you put this, like you try to do something here.
Mm-hmm.
So I lifted my knee towards my chest, like you do like if you're laying on your back and do a knee to chest, and then like started to reach towards my foot. And like I just barely got my hands on my foot. Like I just barely touched it. And I don't know, it must have been from like flexing my leg, you know, and like moving it or something. But like I just barely touched my foot and it went like and popped back into place.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah.
So it must
there
have
was
just
a guy,
barely been in some weird alignment where it's just hanging on.
Yeah. And there was a guy that, you know, one of the guys that I was playing with that was like there about ready to help me up. And I was just in a little bit of shock from that. And I think I said something like, holy shit, did you see that? And he was just like, he looked white as a ghost, which I probably also was. And he was just like, yeah. And then he just like, just said, yeah, and kind of stopped. And I had someone run and grab my stuff from the locker room. And I'm like, I tried to stand on it and I'm like, I can hop away on this right now. Like it doesn't hurt that bad yet, but I was still just thinking something was going to be feeling horrible, you know, and I wouldn't, no one there was going to be able to drag me out. So I just hopped to my vehicle right away and had him bring me my stuff.
And what foot is this?
My left.
Oh, okay.
And I went directly to the hospital from there and got an x-ray immediately. And even at the hospital, even after it was popped back in, it was hurting quite bad. And I was just convinced that something has to be broken.
Oh.
And the doctor came in after the x-rays and he's like, well, I suppose you're wondering if it's broken or not. I'm like, well, yeah, that's definitely what I'm curious about. And he's like, well, nothing's broken. You know, he's like, typically, most of the time, if there's a dislocation, there's fractures and breaks and stuff. But in your case, nothing is broken. So it is just like an extreme sprain of the ligaments in there. And it is a bad one. Like I've said, I've had a lot of sprains before, but my leg is swollen like halfway to my knee from my foot.
So like up your shin,
is like
actually.
Oh yeah, like literally halfway to my knee, and then to the tips of my toes.
And that's
like
what
my 5 toes are purple.
The picture you had.
Yeah,
your foot is so fat. The proportions. I feel like I'm looking at like one of my kids' feet because it makes your foot is just so fat. It looks like your foot is only a couple inches long. It's not how a foot should look.
Oh yeah, and that's the swelling I think is going down a little bit, but the purpleness is just going up every day. And like today, all 5 of my toes are like purple, like beets, you know, and like it's purple, like I said, up my shin, you know, like halfway up my shin.
So you might have a couple weeks at this still.
Yeah, it's getting like, I mean, it's all relative, but it is getting better daily, at least I would say. Yesterday to today didn't seem that much better, but prior to that, every day it was getting a little bit better where I was feeling a little bit more mobile. He said you wanted to put me in a boot, and we talked about the whys of it would go in a boot and stuff like that. And I'm like, well, that doesn't seem like anything I'm worried about, and I don't want one, and I'm not going to wear it, so do not give me the boot. And I have this brace that I wear most of the time during the day, but I mean, I can walk around without. It's just like protective at this point to make sure I don't roll it back over or something.
Wow.
Which I can imagine the pain if I was to roll my ankle over it right now.
Oh my God.
Cut my leg off.
Yeah. Just kill me on the court now. I'm done.
Yes.
Wow. Okay. So does this put a stop to noon ball for a while? Do you see yourself making a return in the next couple months?
It puts the stop as far as like, I literally can't run for probably, I don't know. And actually I went to the gym the next day and did upper body. And then I was in the gym on Sunday and I did stiff-legged deadlifts with 315. And the stability of standing there is really no problem. I definitely can't do a squat right now, and I can't even do a regular deadlift yet because the biggest reason is I cannot push my knee forward at all because my ankle won't. Yeah, like it's not possible. Like my ankle will not bend like that right now. So I'm curious by this next weekend if I can kind of do a semi-normal deadlift. That's kind of my expectation. And then from there, just be slowly doing, I mean, even now I'm working on things, just trying to get some movement in my ankle and then eventually like flexion to be able to, have forward knee travel. And then I would be able to squat again. But we've had heavy thought and discussion around the house on it. And I will play basketball again more. At first I was like, oh, maybe I shouldn't do that anymore. But then, actually someone said something to me that made me think about it in a different light too. I won't name any names, but said something, you know, a guy even actually a little bit younger than me, not a gym member or anything like that, nobody that would be relevant to this podcast, but made the comment, yep, that's why I don't do stuff like that. And this guy looks like he's 35 and he looks like he's almost 50 for a number of reasons. And I'm like, yes, that really, that drives home, because my talk that we had already had about it is a lot of the stuff I like to do either has hurt me or just has a high potential to hurt me, like
but
lifting
that's also at physical activity in general, you know.
Right, that's true. And but it's the stuff that I enjoy. So like I could take the approach, that's why I don't do that, but I'm not going to do that. Okay. You know, like if I was really into, I guess downhill skiing is something we talked about. I don't like skiing, so I have no desire to do that because I don't like it. But if I did, I'd still do it right now. You know what I'm saying?
And,
like,
and you know, like if you're doing skiing or snowboarding, which I like to snowboard, you just know that injury is like just always on the horizon, you know.
Right.
Like if you go
almost
season,
not if, but when.
Yes,
like
if you go a season and nothing happens, you're just like, I guess I was just really lucky this year. Nothing happened to me.
Right. So I'll ease back into that, certainly. Like I'm not going to do it until my ankle feels like it's up to it. But once my ankle's up to it, then I'll probably wear a brace on my ankle for a while and see how that goes too, just because I don't want to do the same thing to the same one just because it's so damn painful. But yeah, I'll eventually get back to it because it's fun. And I'm like, I can't not do the physical things that I think are fun. I mean, it's just like lifting. It is. I tore my ACL and my bicep both lifting, but has that stopped me from lifting? No. And, you know, it never would, because I'm not going to stop doing the things within reason. You know, if it was like causing... I'm not like, I would do this no matter what,
till
ever.
the day I die.
Like I don't care if it's hurting my family, you know, like within reason, like things that just bring me joy and the risk is possibly injuring myself, I would continue to do those. But part of it was when that guy said like, oh yeah, that's why I don't do that stuff. And I'm like, don't want to be like that.
That's a tough way to live. Did you, when you were hobbling out of the gym, did you turn around and look at everyone before you left and said, I'm getting too old for this shit?
I'm getting too damn old for this shit. Is that on any videos from the Arnold? I kept
don't
saying
think
that,
so,
but I don't know
we
if it
said
made
it like a
video.
You said it like a million times at the Arnold. Every night in the hotel about 5 times. Every time after a long drive and we'd stand up. You were saying it more and more actually as the trip went on.
Yeah. I was feeling it more and more too. I mean, that is a real thing though, like this injury or anything, like the getting older doesn't make it any easier. And I imagine like the way that my body handles this is hard. It's a little rougher than it would have been 15 years ago too. I am getting too old for this shit, but I'm not going to stop doing the shit. Just like the Arnold, I am getting too old for that shit too, but I also am not going to stop doing that shit.
Yes. Okay. Now I have a little theory on something here, Tanner.
Okay.
What day of the week did this happen on?
Thursday.
So
at approximately noon. Well, more like 1 p.m.
I mean, I don't want to throw anything out there, but is it coincidence that 8 days after you shake Ryan from Iowa's hand, you have a catastrophic ankle injury? I mean, it's causation, correlation here. Did you ever think of that?
It's not like his thing isn't one of those things it's not like a communicable disease, is it?
I'm almost wondering, because I've kind of been on edge a little bit thinking, am I going to get hurt? Like I also shook Ryan's hand. Am I in trouble?
I'm slightly worried. It's like almost like, I don't know if this is from a Ghostbusters movie or what kind of movie this would be, but it's almost like something inside. Oh, like Space Jam almost, where it like transfers from one person's body. Like he got rid of it. Like he's been the host of this thing.
He passed it on to you.
Yes, finally. Like it was. He wanted to eat lunch with us so bad because it was all a plan for him to transfer this his injury thing that's inside of his body to us.
And maybe we got lucky. Maybe I got lucky, I should say, and you're the one that caught it, and I'll be in the clear.
He
but
shook my hand first or something.
It's something that has been on my mind lately.
Yeah, there could be merit to that. I'm concerned that you could be right. I picture it like the Space Jam thing, though, almost, where like there was a thing that left his body and came into mine, but I didn't know it at the time.
And now you're the victim. But I guess on the bright side, though, wasn't it last year after the Arnold you found out you had been diagnosed with gout?
I completely forgot about that until they brought it up in the Discord. And
I know. I was actually thinking about why were we talking about gout? All this gout talk,
Yeah.
and then I remembered. Oh yes.
I've never had that again either since that, which I was kind of like, oh God, is this going to be a thing I have to deal with like every month or something?
Or after every Arnold?
I think the Arnold is the perfect storm of overuse, under rest, bad diet,
dehydration,
alcohol consumption. But that did not actually get me this year. You could argue maybe my body being in a more fatigued state in general, like could that have increased the likelihood of me injuring myself? I suppose that's true, and the Ryan thing too.
Yeah.
Probably
I mean, let's be honest. That's the number one culprit here. We know what he's up to.
Yes. So now I got to get it back into shape though, just in case this summer, if any strongman competitions come up or anything, I'd like to be ready for them just in case they come up this, in July or something. So
yeah, it's a smart move, just in case something happens.
So I guess I just get a little more R&R in the meantime.
Yes, super state of super recovery you'll be in.
I feel like I'm just in the I'm just gonna come back bigger and badder and better than ever. That's how that works, right?
It's exactly how it works.
Okay,
yes.
That's what I thought.
You'll be just twice as strong as pre-injury.
Yeah, you didn't get injured, did you?
No, not yet. I'm
Okay.
knocking on wood while I say that, though.
Okay. Well, I just used this said post Arnold injuries, so I was like,
well, I saw your leg, and then I was also my other question was the gout thing. If you had any gout.
Oh, no gout, but
okay.
also like afflicted my foot in a very similar way. That's when I didn't know it. That's what it felt. That's what gout felt like. It felt like my ankle was broken.
Oh, really?
At first, yeah. That's actually. Okay. Yeah, it felt very similar for like a day, although this actual almost broken ankle is taking a lot longer to feel normal. Like when the gout went away, I was like, I'm $1 million again. And this is like,
I've been cured.
Yeah.
It's a miracle.
It was like, it's like, oh, sweet. That went from debilitating to nothing. And this seems to be a little bit more gradual than that.
It is nice. Ryan did say in the Discord that he'll wear gloves to the Lift Hard Live Easy Classic to prevent future infections to anyone else.
Yeah.
Probably a smart move.
Other people catching this.
Yeah.
You know what I would like to see some other people catching though? Some supplements from Build Fast Formula. You can check them out at buildfastformula.com. And then when you go to their collection of supplements, you'll see their Vaso Blitz, which is their dual nitric oxide support supplement. They've got their Full Blitz, which is their fully loaded pre-workout supplement, their Drink Hack, and then their Glyco Hack. And then probably my personal favorite, maybe close second is Vaso Blitz. My personal favorite is the 80-20 protein. It's got the 80% casein protein and the 20% whey. I enjoy the chocolate flavor. And if you purchase anything from them, you can use discount code Massenomics. That'll save you 10%. Along with if you sign up for a recurring membership on any of these products, it saves you an additional 10%, so you can actually get 20% off on anything you buy there. Thank you, buildfastformula.com.
And today's episode is also brought to you by Texas Power Bars. Buddy Caps first started lifting weights in the late 60s and began powerlifting in the mid-70s. At the time, he was working for Image Barbell building gym equipment. Around 1976, a local machine shop started making Olympic bars for them, calling it the Image Bar. In 1977, Image Barbell became Champion Barbell. It was then that Buddy started looking at the bars with an intent of changing them for the better. In 1979, Buddy bought his first lathe to begin addressing the known issues. In 1980, his passion, drive, and purpose now had a greater mission. Buddy set out on his own to make what he believed was the greatest bar he'd ever seen and trained with, and the Texas Power Bar was born. It was strong as a house with the best knurling and was maintenance-free. Hundreds of state, national, international, and world powerlifting records have been and continue to be set on the Texas Power Bar. To learn more about Texas Power Bars and buy one of their legendary bars, visit texaspowerbars.com.
Keith asked in the Discord if what shoes I was wearing when I did that to my ankle, if I was wearing high tops. And I was wearing my Nike more up tempo. But the interesting point, several people have brought that up, and prior to this, even, you know, I think it's maybe a bit of a misnomer that people have thought that high top shoes actually prevent ankle injuries in any way, because the more current research tends to suggest that is false.
Oh, does it say otherwise?
That high top shoes possibly provide almost no protection in that, and may also like decrease athletic ability. You know, it's enough to like decrease some, to make some negatives, but not really create positives in the form of protection.
Okay, well then maybe you have to ditch the high tops, get to something.
I can't ditch that. I'm definitely a big high top guy, so I would never change that, even if they don't protect the ankles. But
what if
I
it's
am not a doctor,
you?
Of course, but I guess a simple Google search could maybe tell me something about that. But that's what I've at least heard from. I've heard people say that I think know more than I do. And I believe that that's maybe possibly true. Someone could fact check me and find out that I'm wrong, that high tops actually do something. But
we have iPhone in the waiting room. Do you think that could be our guy?
That could be.
I mean, it's right on time.
Let me see if I can verify that he actually uses an iPhone even.
That's actually a good point.
He does use an iPhone.
Okay. Then
so
we are going to get him.
Kick everyone
here.
out.
Yep, they're out now. And
all right, Big CT, we're beyond excited to get you on the Massenomics podcast. This is one of those ones that I've been probably hoping for years. It's going to be a lot of fun. We got a lot of questions for you. You want to pick your brain on some stuff, and you've been an icon in the industry. I probably don't need to go over all your resume that much, because everyone that's listening already knows who you are and everything. But I would just say we are pumped to get you on here, and we're happy to have a few minutes of your time.
Well, I'm happy to be here. Massenomics. Who picked that name?
That's Tanner.
I guess that was me. It was a long time ago. I didn't know if I knew what I was doing at the time, but it's definitely, nobody, we don't have to worry about anyone trying to steal our name.
I think it's pretty damn cool, man.
Yeah. No, so it's Massenomics. We actually got to meet you here at the Arnold just a little bit ago, and it looks like you made it home from there, huh?
Yeah, I did.
And were you doing some strict curl stuff? I mean, were you judging, or were you just making appearance there? What were you doing?
Actually, what happened is Strict Curl Nation seen fit to bring me there and pay tribute to the old man as being the oldest living strict curler.
Is that a fact? Is that a fact for what you know? Are you the oldest strict curler out there right now?
No, I'm definitely not a strict curler, because I entered the event and there was people there when I got there, so I cannot be the oldest.
Well, that's fair, I suppose. Some of our first, obviously our first introduction to you was really early YouTube, and you made this big splash on YouTube when most of us really didn't know what YouTube was, hardly, almost at this point in time. Or if we did, it sure as hell isn't what it is today, obviously.
Absolutely.
And the first, I don't know, you tell me if this was the first video, but that first one, I remember this was perfect timing for me, close to 15 years ago, when I was just really getting into lifting. And this video I found, it was the strongest man you've never heard of. That was that first one I came across, the strongest man you've never heard of. Saw that, and it was like as close to life-changing as just like a motivational YouTube lifting video could be. Was that the original one?
That was the first. That was absolutely the first. And in that, I had no idea what YouTube was when I made that video myself. So, I came out and I asked them the same question I asked you guys before I came on the podcast was, can I be myself? That's always my first question, because, I had been, in the early days, I had been doing videos or broadcasts, and I was extremely censored. I could not be myself, and that I hate. So as long as I can be myself, I'm cool.
Yeah. So they kind of they said, yeah, we'll do it. And then was it shortly after that you started your own YouTube channel then too? Like how long was it after that? Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And so
a guy named Arash Babu had a YouTube channel called Strength Project. That's my grandson.
Hey, buddy.
and And he got me on his YouTube channel first, and then thank you. Then I decided to start my own shortly after.
Yeah.
So,
Thank you.
and how did that first video come about? I mean, did this guy, was he a training partner? Did he know about you, or what started that even?
Well, he was training at the same gym, and he already had this, like I said, he had a YouTube channel, and it was called Strength Project, and they were into calisthenics. And he trained me over there training Mike Rashid, Big Rob, and Bulo, and my son Samson. I was doing a lot of cussing, and he wanted to see what all the cussing was about. And he said, "Hey, would you like to be on YouTube?" And I said, "What the fuck is YouTube?"
And the rest is kind of history. But that video, I'm not just saying that because you're on the podcast or anything right now. That video was a big deal for me at the time. Actually, you're in the video, you're wearing this Corvette shirt. And at the time, I didn't even care about Corvettes. I went out and bought that shirt just because, and I still have that Corvette, that same gray Corvette shirt to this day, just because I saw you wearing it in that video, and I was like, this just is a cool feel to it, and I just thought it was, I just loved it at the time.
Oh man, and now you've got a Corvette, right?
I don't have a Corvette, but we've got some vehicle talk. Actually, we'll jump back to some of this lifting stuff, but as long as we're talking about classic vehicles, let's talk about something here. We know you're a classic car guy.
Absolutely.
We're from South Dakota. That's where Mount Rushmore is, and we like to talk about Mount Rushmore a lot. So what we want to know is your Mount Rushmore, so kind of your top 4 classic cars. You know, it can either be ones in your collection or just like year and model. Like what are your top 4 that are the top dogs for you?
Man, of course the 63 split window Corvette, 69, it's hard, 68, 69, I go back and forth, but 69 Dodge Charger, because I think my dad, he had one, that was the first muscle car I ever experienced, and that kind of did it, for the muscle car, because I really wanted one after that. And let's see, probably, does it have to be American made?
No, whatever you like. Think.
Okay. Well, they are American made, so I'm gonna go with a 70 Cuda and a 70 Challenger, man.
Okay.
So kind of a Mopar guy.
Yeah, I love, like I said, my dad bought that 69 Charger brand new, and that kind of put the Mopar in my blood, but still my favorite car is Corvettes.
Okay. So do you have a split window Corvette?
I sure do.
You've got a few Corvettes, don't you?
Yeah, I got 4 of them.
So what year Corvettes do you have?
63, 65, 62, and a 72.
Okay.
Wow.
Yeah. The 72, is that the black one with like the side? Yeah, that one's pretty sweet too.
So do they all get driven?
Okay. Say that again, please.
Do they all get driven?
Rarely, yes.
Yeah.
I drive at most once a month, so they get to pretty low miles.
How many classic vehicles do you have between either running or not running, or what do you got?
Got 4 Corvettes, 72 Monte Carlo, and 69 Dodge, not a Dodge, a 72 long bed pickup truck.
Is that the 4-door pickup?
I sold that one.
Oh, that 4-door one looks. I saw you talking about that somewhere, and I didn't even know they made those at that point in time. That was like an early 60s, and that thing looked pretty sweet.
Yeah, I got rid of it. Yeah.
So what?
Right, the ones that I got now, I'm not getting rid of.
So what's the pickup that you've got now?
69 C10.
You're talking.
I've got a 69 C10.
All right.
Yeah, I've got a 69 C10 long bed with the 350 in it and stuff. So
absolutely. So how cool it is.
Oh, I love it. Actually, I think I legally have to say it's my wife's. That's how she let me get it. So we have to call it my wife's pickup. But I've never had it's my first older vehicle like that I bought, and just working on it and messing with it and driving around, you know, I kind of love every bit of it so far. So
Grandpa's trying to do an interview.
Yeah.
Yeah. Fall in love with him, man. I told somebody I'd rather, and I mean this, I'd rather wait on the side of the road in my 69 pickup for AAA to come give me a tow than to drive a brand new.
Yep.
I mean that.
Yeah.
But
so
never fails. It's a very reliable vehicle.
That's right. Do you have anything that, I mean, you got a lot now, but is there anything out there that if it came up, you feel like you have to have that you don't have yet in the collection?
That Charger, the Cuda, and the Challenger. I want one of those.
Yeah.
Okay. And Mustang might not be bad also.
Yeah. Yeah, I can blame you for that one then too.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. What's your daily driver then though? I mean, I assume it's not any of those then, or is it any of those?
Yeah. Most of the time, if I'm driving something, I'll be in that pickup truck, the 69.
Okay. Nice.
Yeah.
That's
practical.
awesome.
You got room for stuff.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, throw shit in the back, you know, go around collect shit that I don't need.
It works good for hauling around weights.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Okay. One thing I was thinking, you know, people like me, you inspired a lot of people going back 10, 15 years and even now today. Kind of wondering, when you first got into it, was there anyone like that kind of first inspired you, whether it was directly with the lifting or even outside of that? Was there anyone that was really motivated you when you got your first start?
Well, not from social media, but
Right.
Craig Munson, you know, an underground superhero, was the guy that I, you know, most admired as a youngster coming up. Big Craig, he was like, you know, Lord of the Streets, man, gang member, and he was fucking huge. he was Massenomics in person, in the flesh.
Yes. Okay. And then at your biggest, I mean, at your biggest, were you as big as he was then when you got up to your biggest? Because you were a pretty large man.
Yeah, that was the goal. That was the goal, to try to be as big as Craig Munson, man. Because when I first seen him, I was walking around about 255 pounds and 21-inch arms, thinking I'm pretty big, thinking I was doing something. And I seen Craig, and my notion of big just went out the window. I said, what the fuck? I felt like I didn't even lift weights at all. So at my largest, I was 325 pounds with 24.5-inch arms. So I was close. Me and Big Craig was running neck and neck.
Yeah. Yeah. So you said 24.5-inch arms. That's crazy.
Yeah.
What was your strict curl record then at that time?
Was 225 pounds, which
okay.
It doesn't sound like very much, but when you got to keep your head back and butt against the wall, it makes a big difference.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, people aren't. There's nobody blowing that out of the water now, is there? I mean, that number hasn't greatly gone up since then, has it? Or like, what's the world record now?
Well, I think it's about 250 something now.
Okay.
And, done by a guy in Russia, an arm wrestler named Saplenkov, I believe his name is Saplenkov. He broke it about. It's probably been 8-9 years ago, but it lasted, you know, almost 30 years before he broke it.
Yeah. That's especially in this day and age when it seems like records are falling all the time.
Yeah.
That's a long-standing record.
Yeah, I was shocked that he lasted that long.
It seems like strict curling is getting kind of popular right now too. Like I don't know if it's just from seeing it from you or who all I see it from, but it just seems like it, you know, like Jen Thompson's a power lifter we followed for a long time. She was in on it this year, and it just seems like I see more people doing it and more people talking about it than 10 years ago.
Having a resurgence, and it's coming back. It is more popular than ever now. You know, they have their own stage there at the Arnold. They've had it for a couple of years, 2 or 3 years now, and you know, at the Mr. America, and it's really more popular than ever. And I'm just happy that my old ass is still here to witness it.
Yeah.
Yeah, Jen did something, you know, incredible. She walked into her first strict curl meet, set a all-time world record in her weight class, And she's got some competition though. She's not just doing it by herself. There's some other strong ladies out there too.
Yeah, that's cool. You talked about some of your inspiration there and talked about them, but I just wondered, you've been in the gym a lot over a lot of years. You trained with a lot of big dudes and stuff. Is there any other lifters that stick out to you as just some of the biggest, baddest dudes that you've trained with over the years? Any other names that really stick out to you from your time in the gym?
I have trained with, some of the biggest, strongest rascals on the planet. Iron Bibby, for one. He's a strongman athlete. But before he became a strongman athlete, he came over and stayed with me. He lived with me for quite a while.
Really? I didn't know that.
Yeah. And Bibby, I was telling people back then that, Bibby was going to be a sensational strongman if he ever decided to compete. He's going to be, he's still going to win. I predict that Bibby's going to win the overall. He always had the log press record, but he's going to win the overall world's strongest man title before it's over with.
How big around do you think his upper arms are?
26. Yeah, they are ridiculous.
That is nuts.
Yeah.
What country is he from? I forget now.
He's from Africa, but Burkina Faso. It's a small, not small, but it's a region in Africa.
Okay. Yeah, I'll love to see him compete more. Anytime he's on the roster, people get excited about seeing what he's going to do because he's obviously a freak of nature, just
has a presence.
Wild, just the way he looks even. It's not normal.
Yeah. And for somebody that big to be turning cartwheels and stuff is, unheard of.
Yeah. And then you got guys even of more recent, training with like Larry Wheels, TD Smash, Julius Maddox, and Julius. I know you've very big bencher yourself in the day, obviously, and been around a lot of big benchers, but Julius is pretty rare. You don't see anyone like that walking around very often that does what he does either.
If there's any Indian, ask mommy. What mommy say?
Yes.
Okay, go ahead.
Grandma's going to open the fridge.
Oh, okay. Well, Grandpa is doing a podcast right now, so you have to get mommy or grandma to do it. Okay? All right. Okay, yeah. Julius is hands down the strongest raw bench presser I have ever witnessed. And that's saying a whole lot, man, because I've seen a lot of strong dudes. I competed against some of the best dudes in the world in my heyday. And I would love to see James Henderson, if James Henderson in his prime against Hollywood Henderson against Julius Maddox in his prime. That's Julius has, eclipsed Henderson's record, but I think as Hollywood didn't have
no competition. Yeah, right. No one to push him any farther than he went.
I was trying, but he was, he was the king.
Yeah.
And Julius, I would love to see them two go at it head to head.
Yeah, I would agree that.
TD Smash also though. TD and a full meet, 700 pounds and a full meet. Yeah, that's gonna be hard to beat right there.
Yeah, I agree.
And Larry Wheels is just a fucking freak. I mean, he looks like a Mr. Olympia competitor and lifting, numbers that can hang with any power lifter, So he's just a freak of nature, man.
Yes, he is.
Yeah, Larry had that streak. I mean, we talked about on this podcast where it felt like every month it was Larry broke this record, this record. I mean, he was just on a tear for like a year straight.
Yeah. He's still strong as shit.
Yes, he is.
Yeah.
It's still your motherfucking set. Do you know when you said that the first time or what that, did you say it the first time? You're like, yep, that's something. Like, did that stick right away or what's the origin of that?
Yeah, the origin of that, I'm training with Big Rob. I always had that mindset, but the first time we ever put it into words, I'm training with my training partner, Big Rob did it. And we was having a particularly grueling training session. And Rob turns away, he goes, he said, hey, I'll be right back. He goes and he throws up. And he comes back, and he said, hey, Pop, I had to throw up. I'm like, look, okay, wipe all that shit off your mouth, and it's still your motherfucking set. So don't think just because you throwed up, you was gonna get out of this shit. So that was the first time it was said in training. I had no idea that it would become a thing. It was just, just a couple of training parties talking shit.
Yeah. And now you couldn't say that to a single person in the gym around almost the world and them not know where that comes from. And, it's just such a common phrase. You just hear it in the gym all the time. Yeah.
It's so common I looked at this street interpretation of, and it's supposed to, tell you what street language is and where it originated, and had ISYMFS on there. And they said, okay, it means to stay your motherfucking set, but they didn't say who started the shit. Yeah, it's a street. It means, if you haven't completed your set in weightlifting, that no matter what, you still have to complete your set. I'm like, hey, can I get a little credit here, bro?
But also, though, that is awesome that at this day, that abbreviation can exist, which is just random letters, and people can know. Like, the saying has gotten so big that people can see that abbreviation and it means something to them.
Yeah. That's wild.
I agree.
What do you have? You had a lot of, we talked about some of these YouTube videos too that went off so popular. Do you have a favorite one personally that you just that you loved that you did?
Man, that's hard to. I Command You to Grow is up there. I think that cemented me as a certified nut for talking to his biceps. But the workouts with Terry Crews, Michael Hearn.
Yeah.
I had a group of professional wrestlers to come in. Some of the workout videos are also very high on my list. But Hulk Smash is actually my all-time viewed video. That's the most popular video I ever did, was Hulk Smash.
Yeah. It was a good one.
Yeah.
Yeah, I get off a plane in Russia and they're wearing Hulk masks and everybody's on Hulk Smash, Hulk Smash. Middle East, Hulk Smash, Hulk Smash. I'm like, wow, this thing is pretty popular.
Yes. Kind of about that, and just the way you are, maybe in some of the videos, and even just really just the way you speak and are. I know you've said before your dad was a preacher. Do you feel like you get some of that from him, like the way you speak and the way you talk? Like, is that what because it's almost, you're not necessarily preaching a sermon, but it kind of feels like that in a different way. Do you think there's some similarity there, or?
I think it's impossible to be raised by a preacher and not have some of that rub off on you. So I absolutely think that is part preacher, part drill sergeant, and part raving fucking lunatic. That's how I describe it.
Yeah. Yeah, that makes sense. You were in the Army then? Is that right?
Yeah.
Or okay. So had you been lifting yet when you were in the Army?
I started lifting when I was 10 years old. So yeah,
Okay.
I went in the Army when I was 18. So I had 8 years of lifting before I went in the Army.
Yeah. So you were probably basic training and stuff like that was no big deal at that point in time.
Yeah, it was no big deal physically because, my dad had well prepared me for the Army before I got in the Army because he was a soldier himself. So, I was yes, sir, and no, sir, my whole life. So when I got there, that was no big deal.
Yeah. The pig iron. Can you explain what pig iron is for anyone that doesn't maybe already know what pig iron is?
Absolutely. And that's for you younger generation people.
Yeah.
The simplest description is anytime you see a plate with a 1-inch hole in it, it's a pig iron plate. Olympic plates all have the 2-inch holes. So you see a 1-inch hole and it's old, rusty, and beat up, most likely it's going to be pig iron.
And a lot of times the weights are different than what people are used to too, aren't they?
Oh, most definitely a pig iron plate. If you don't know, I mean, they're a lot smaller in diameter than the Olympic plates, but they are much denser and thicker. And the bars are usually 5 or 6 feet bars, when an Olympic bar is a 7-foot bar. So pig iron plates make the weight much closer, and it'll feel heavier being closer to you. You can't grip way out wide with a 5-foot bar. It's going to feel denser and heavier, and pig iron plates are notorious for being inaccurate. So you may have a 25 stamped on the side of the plate, and it might be 28 pounds, 27, it's, whatever the fuck, we always looked at it like, whatever it is, we're going to pick it up. So
Right. And you've got at Iron Addicts and just otherwise maybe your backyard gym and stuff, I've seen you've got some cool older, vintage, whatever you want to call it, equipment. And I know you've been on Rob's podcast before, Vintage Weights, and he's a big vintage weight. So we've had him on before, and over the last few years, I've gotten into getting a lot more older weights. I've got older York round head dumbbells and some York deep dish plates and stuff like that. And some of that stuff, just the longer I go, the cooler and cooler some of that stuff seems to me.
Yeah, absolutely.
Do you have a favorite piece of like vintage equipment? I've seen I got a couple things, at least one I want to ask you about, but is there anything that sticks out to you that you've got that you really like?
Well, Rob, that what you mentioned him, he gave me a very hard to find 7-foot pig iron bar by York. York made a 7-foot bar, and you can use that on Olympic bench or a regular pig iron bench press, which is a lot more narrow than a regular bench press. But he gave me one of those. They're super hard to find, and I appreciate the hell out of it, Rob, just in case you're looking. But as far as curl bars, Criterion bar.
Yeah.
I don't own any stock in Criterion. He's not paying me to say anything. The Criterion curl bar is hands down the best piece of apparatus for growing biceps I have ever seen. He has the attachment that you can use on your regular machine pulleys, and I have the bar, which he made specially for me because it's a pig iron bar. It's 1 inch diameter. And, I asked for that because I'm old school like that.
And for anyone that doesn't know what it is, it's got 2 handles on the bar, and they are free to rotate. So as you come up or down, you can, turn your hands in, turn them out, as you're going, as you're performing the curl. And that's the one I particularly wanted to ask you about, is because that looks like a pretty sweet bar.
It is. Yep. And you can't have mine. But he's coming out with some new ones real soon.
Okay. So we'll be on the lookout for that.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Okay. Tommy, should we do underrated, overrated?
I think we should, yes.
Okay. All right. We did Mount Rushmore. Now we've got this other little game we play with everyone on the show, and it's just overrated and underrated. So we've got a list of topics that are just handpicked for CT Fletcher, and you got to decide if each one is either overrated or underrated. And you can say whatever you want about it, but you can't ride the line. You got to say if it's over or under. So first one, overrated or underrated mailmen?
Mailmen, they are very much underrated. And that's because I was working at the post office for fucking 28 years, man. So I give mail, they are highly underrated.
Did you ever have any big dog run-ins as a mailman?
See, I wasn't a carrier. I worked on the inside driving forklifts and stuff.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Overrated or underrated Bruce Lee?
Oh, man. I'm going to say, and he's highly rated by everyone, so I'm going to say underrated anyway, because, of what real fighters had to say about him. Joe Louis, heavyweight champ back then, said that Bruce Lee was the real deal, and he was, a fighter. So people that actually fought, if they have good things to say about Bruce Lee as a fighter, then he's underrated. Because a lot of people just think he's a movie star, but he can fight.
And martial arts was one of your first things you were into, wasn't it?
Absolutely. I loved it. Absolutely loved it.
So
not keep getting my head beat in, but I loved it.
So would you keep up on all of his movies? Were you watching everything he was coming out with?
Absolutely. Oh man, a Bruce Lee movie came on, I was flying to the screen. Yeah, me and my older brother Walt, we would love Bruce Lee, man. I wanted to be Bruce Lee when I was, in school.
Well, and you were into karate then too, weren't you? I mean, you practiced karate then too, didn't you?
Yeah, I did it the whole time I was in the military.
Okay. Do you think, if you were born 30 years later, say, for as big as MMA is today, do you think that could you have seen that been something that you would have got into?
Oh, I would have had to try it. I would have had to give it, because that's it's the most machoest thing going around. So
Right.
yeah, you got to give it a try. But it's an ordeal. I mean, if you see somebody in the UFC, that's a bad motherfucker. He had to go through a lot just to get to that stage, because there's a whole plethora of motherfuckers that's practicing martial arts, but they ain't in the UFC. There's a whole lot of guys that are training every day. You go to the dojos and gyms, and they're full. But, it's not everybody's on the UFC roster. So those guys, get a ton of respect, whether they fucking win or lose. They had the balls to step in there in a cage with another motherfucker and try to knock his fucking head off. So they get my respect, man. I think anybody who's trained to fight would give UFC fighters, any fighters, a ton of respect, because it's not an easy job.
Right. Okay. Overrated or underrated, the Pontiac GTO?
Ooh, the GOAT.
Yeah, the GOAT.
Yeah, it's how can it be underrated? Because it gets quite a bit of praise, but maybe underrated because it's not, I don't think, on the status of a Dodge Charger, Superbird.
And even now, with Pontiac being gone, I feel like people maybe forget about Pontiac even more now. They don't have that thing to keep it.
It's not giving, a Shelby Mustang. It's not on that level, and I don't know if it ever will be. So I'm gonna say underrated on it.
Okay. What do you? The other one I was thinking about. How do you feel about Chevelles?
I personally don't like them.
Okay, that's what I was curious, because it's one that didn't come up in in what we're in our conversation so far.
Yeah. I mean, I've owned a couple, and a 70 Chevelle. It fucking everybody loves them, but the only reason I'm not so partial to them is because there's too fucking many of them. They're not rare enough for me.
Right.
It's just too many. Everybody's favorite fucking car is a 70 Chevelle. I'm fucking sick of them.
That's good. Okay. What's your favorite era of Corvette? What is so like your 70 whatever, is that a C3 Corvette then?
Yeah, the 72 C3. Yeah.
Yeah. So what's the best?
C2s.
C2s.
Is the C2 the split window, or
67?
What's the years again? You said
63 to 67 C2s.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so that is the split window, right?
Yeah, split window, and 67, 63 split window, and 67s are probably the rarest vets.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Before I forget, you got to send me a picture of your 69 C10. I want to see that too. So I gotta perfect that it's a 69 even. So
yeah, if you go to CT Fletcher Auto Addicts page, you will see it. I got it. I call it Hattie B. I call my truck Hattie B. Did you name your truck?
Well, it's like I said, it's kind of my wife, so she's got to name it really. Right now we just call it my wife's pickup. So yeah. Yeah.
Tell your wife she's got to have a name.
Okay. I'll tell her. Okay. All right. Overrated or underrated? Eazy-E.
Oh man. I think to anybody that's really into rap, and I'm not, but there's certain rap artists that I love, and Eazy-E is damn sure one of them. He'd be number one on my list. He'd be on Mount Rushmore of rappers.
Okay. I didn't know that, but I wondered, with him being from Compton, I didn't know if you have you kind of like the Compton guys or not. I figured maybe you had an opinion on it one way or another.
Yeah, well, Dr. Dre is also a favorite of mine because I know him personally. Plus, he's a Compton guy, and he's just bad motherfucker.
He's Dr. Dre.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Last one, most important one here. It's worth all the marbles. Overrated or underrated? The Big Mac from McDonald's.
Oh shit! it's overrated because of the obvious unhealthiness of it. But it was my favorite food of choice for many years, so I can't talk too much shit about it because as like an alcoholic that used to be. I mean, a reformed alcoholic saying I'm fucked up and it's no good, which is true, but I feel kind of, bad condemning it. Seems like it was my food of preference for so many years.
And what did the Big Mac diet look like? I mean, what was the number? How many?
There might be some people listening that don't know. So what was the McDonald's routine back in the day?
4 Big Macs, 4 French fries, 2 apple pies, and goddamn a strawberry fucking malt shake to rinse it down with. And I see people, imitating that shit, and I'm like, are you crazy? But that was just my lunch. That was just my lunch for 20 years. 20-some years I did that at the post office. I went to the same McDonald's every day. They would have it on the table waiting for me when I got there. I came in, so yeah. And they would just stand. Something gave to me for free. They just wanted to see if I could eat it all.
And did you ever once get tired of it? Like think, no, I got to do something different today.
That's what they must put something in them Big Macs, man. Because no, I didn't. I didn't get
right. I think you're right. They put something in there.
Yeah. Put something.
Do you ever eat McDonald's anymore? Like, do you ever have it at all?
I have a fillet of fish on occasion.
Okay.
No Big Macs though.
No more Big Macs.
Yeah. Yeah. So the Big Mac. Okay. Well, good news. It looks like you passed overrated, underrated. So that's important.
Do I get a 70 Seville now?
Well, everyone's got one. You just go to your neighbor, grab. They probably got 2.
Give it back.
Yeah. I don't want this thing. Yeah. That's how about the old Camaros? What do you think of those?
I love them, man. Especially the early 67. Oh yeah, 67, 68 are probably my favorites.
Yeah.
Gotta be a RSSS though.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, I like the old car stuff. That's good. Okay. Yeah, well, that's great. How about this? Where if people what would be the number one way if people wanted to support CT Fletcher, if they're listening to this and they're like, what do they do? Check out Iron Addicts or your website, or where do you send them, or where do you want them to go?
CTFletcher.com, man. That would be it for all things. And we're revamping everything. We're coming out with a new clothing line, new supplements, everything. We're going through everything all new. So probably be kind of scarce over there right now, but give us a couple of weeks and everything will be back up booming. CTFletcher.com.
Okay. And if people are coming through, can anyone coming through, can they get a day pass at Iron Addicts and check it out and lift? Yeah.
Oh yes. Iron Addicts Gym, Signal Hill, California, which is same as Long Beach, California. You can go in, get a day pass, and I'm there 3-4 days a week, but it's hard to say which one.
Yeah. You've got a pretty sweet gym outdoor gym at home then too, don't you too?
Oh yeah. Me and my boy go out in the backyard and hit the pig iron. So yeah, all kind of old rusty shit.
Good. Okay. Awesome. Well, we really appreciate you coming on. This is fun, and like I said, kind of a bucket list thing for us to get you on here. This is good stuff.
Massenomics, man. I love it. That's a great fucking name. Thank you guys for having the old man on.
Thanks a lot,
awesome.
CT.
You better make sure the grandkid got in the refrigerator.
Oh my God. They're doing everything possible to make sure that this podcast was fucked up.
Hey, we both got little kids, so
Yep, we know how it goes.
we're no stranger to the game.
Yeah.
Awesome. Thanks, man.
All right, thanks a lot.
Thank you, guys.
See ya.
Bye.
Cool beans.
Vintage, classic. Big Mac
Gave 'em
Cool
some
Beans right there.
Compton Cool Beans.
Compton Cool Beans.
It's still your motherfucking Cool Beans.
Wow. CT. What a guy.
The man, the myth, the legend.
That's there's not a lot of people you can say that seriously
No.
about, but that guy you can say that seriously
No,
about.
there's not a lot of people we've had on the podcast before you'd get done and say the man, the myth, but the legend, and you wouldn't be saying it like tongue in cheek almost. But with CT Fletcher, that is the man, the myth, the legend.
We might have to rethink our conversation we had about Chevelles just a couple weeks ago. Taylor.
I guess. Yeah, CT's kind of talking me out of the Chevelles.
It's off the list.
Yeah. I did not know that he had a 69 C10.
That
though.
is crazy. Yes, that you guys have the same truck. I'm curious what color his is.
What did he say the website is? I think he said Iron Auto Addicts.
Yeah, I think it's an Instagram page, I think.
Okay.
I believe.
I'm curious what it looks like if it's,
he has a YouTube channel, CT Fletcher's. Only 2 videos. Okay, so not a whole lot there.
Okay. All right. So you think it's an Instagram? I want to look quick and see if I can find it just because I want to see what it looks like. So what did he say? Like Iron Auto Addicts?
CT Fletcher's Auto Addicts, I believe is what he... I thought he said it was an Instagram page.
Oh, Auto Addicts, yeah. Okay. What do we got here? See a lot of his Corvettes here. Oh, yeah. That's got to be it. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, Hattie B. Yeah, it's black. It's
okay, what's the name of the page here? What are you
it's
CT
Fletcher
there it is. Yep,
Auto Addicts.
Okay, I see it now, yeah.
Yep. So his is nice looking. Yeah. His is black and white two-tone. Same front grille, of course, as mine. Long bed, because he's talking about how he hated long bed trucks because that's all his dad ever had.
Oh.
And he never wanted to see a long bed again in his
Damn,
life.
his has that cool, first of all, the red interior, which...
Yeah, the red interior.
I remember... It's funny how long Chevys had red interiors on their trucks.
Yeah.
Like even, what's Grant's, like the square bodies or whatever they are?
Yeah.
I remember having uncles that had the all red interior on those things even.
Yep.
But his has like that embossed like leafing effect to it. Do you see that in one of these here?
Is that on the? Oh yes, on the door panel.
Yeah,
yes.
like in the leather
cool.
and on the door
that's
card,
cool.
the door panel.
Yeah, that's a nice pickup. I like that.
Yeah, that's cool.
She's a fine looking unit. I like his tailgate too. His tailgate is a little bit different.
Let's see. Yeah, the words. What's yours? Does yours have Chevrolet on the tailgate?
Yeah, mine just has a big Chevrolet across the back middle, basically.
Mm-hmm.
Good stuff. Glad we got a little C10 talk into the CT Fletcher podcast. I didn't do it earlier, so we should do a little supporting our supporting members. This is a segment where we give back to the people that give to us. So we have these group of supporting members that choose to support us. You could also do the same. You go to massenomics.com/join. It's how you get in on our mailings that we do a few times a year, like our Hall of Fame mailing that everyone's just receiving now. It's also how you get in our Discord community. The only way you get in our Discord, you can listen live to the podcast. You can get a discount code, a whole bunch of stuff. You get early access to drops, early information on what we going on. And then in each week, we like to give back through this supporting our supporting members. So this week I saw big Matt Cesney did a push-pull single ply, and he had a 436 bench and a 555 deadlift. And then his wife, of course, Big Jess Cesney, it was her first ever meet.
That's awesome.
So congratulations right there. She hit a 105 bench and a 225 deadlift, and they are both signed up for the 2024 Lift Hard, Live Easy Classic right here in Western Northeast
I
South
guess
Dakota.
you could say that puts them at front runners for strongest couple right off the bat.
Oh, that's a good award idea. That's a good award idea.
Yes.
I have to
Not a
think
lot of
about
people
that.
will be in the running for that
Oh,
one.
I wonder if there's any other people that are potentially in the running. It'd be fun if there was a couple other ones.
Nathan and
The
is
Andersons.
Oh.
Ryan and Leah Anderson
Abby? Are they both signed
are
up?
both in it. And then also the Thomases.
Yes.
So that definitely could be.
Yeah, we got a triple threat match here.
Yeah. So that
Make
could
the
be an
award. Needs to happen. It's official.
Write it down. Live brainstorming session. Strongest couple. Okay. Next, big Matthias Cash did a meet again. Strong numbers like always for this fella. 600 squat, 363 bench, and a 606 deadlift for a 1570 total.
Very nice.
Then big Colton from down there in Crew Falls. He won a belly flop competition on vacation. I think he was in Cancun or somewhere like that.
That's prestigious.
Then big Hannah. She was in a strongman comp. She had a clean sweep on all 5 events at her strongman competition and qualified for nationals. Sounds like a supermarket sweep. Have you ever seen that, Tommy? Supermarket sweep?
I remember the show being on back in the day. I thought it was pretty cool, the idea of going into this grocery store and just cleaning up house.
Oh, get all the frozen turkeys.
Yeah.
They must
I
have
don't know why I thought that was cool, but that did seem like a really cool show to me when I was 6 years old or whatever that was.
I agree. I thought that I loved that show. Then last but not least, Big Dutch Matt was the guest this week on Unpaid and Underrated.
Well, and maybe we should. Did we actually mention the names? Our first official Hall of Fame members? Is that would kind of tie
we should.
into this?
That actually, yeah, we should mention that should be anytime we have new ones. I guess that's a good good to mention, right?
Yes. So we did mention that Hall of Fame status is awarded at 12 achievements from the achievement card we sent out, and so far we have had 4 people reach 12 achievements. These 4 people are, and I'm just reading them off on the order on the website here. Is this, Tanner, you put these on here. Is this the order that they came in, or did you put them all in at kind of the same time?
That was the order they came in, but I'm wondering if is that the way that they should be ordered, or should they be alphabetical, or should they be by whichever crew joined? First.
Well, okay. So that's to be decided, but I'll just read them in the order they're at right now. And so the first one on the list, Big Chris Daminger. Well done. Matt Fleming. Jen. How do you actually say Jen's last name?
V.
Jen V. That's actually good. And of course, Keith Honeycutt. And it is funny, Tanner.
You're asking me how to say people's last names?
I know. It is funny because when we were doing this, like with any game, anything, prizes, you want it to be where people can get it, but you don't want it to be where it's so easy that just everyone gets it, because then it's not cool. It's too obvious. Right. And it is funny how these were the exact names that were coming to mind. And we're like, well, Chris would probably be at 12 achievements right away. I bet Matt would be up there. Oh, yeah. Jen, Keith, they're probably like those people just come to our mind right away as people that are high achieving individuals. And of course, yes, they were.
Someone made the comment, because some things do involve around like coming to events, and that's kind of what I would mention is the whole theme of the whole thing is like this.
You have to be really into Massenomics.
Yeah, it just it's additional encouragement to participate more in anything, and some of those things are in-person events. Not everything. I actually don't know if the math checks out that you could hit 12 without doing any in-person things or not. Maybe that's not possible, but it probably doesn't require many.
Because we have the Arnold, attend the Arnold, attend the Lift Hard Live Easy Classic, compete the Lift Hard Live Easy Classic, attend Crew Falls. That's 4 right there.
And the gym is 1.
Oh, and the gym. 5. So 5. So yeah, I mean,
but one of those is not in South Dakota, the Arnold, that. I mean, it is required as an in-person event, but you could almost slightly get there without ever coming to South Dakota.
You could. And also if you make the trip to South Dakota, you can pad those numbers in a hurry too.
Oh yeah. But that's part of the thing. It's just like encouraging people to do anything Massenomics, to be on one of them is being on the Unpaid and Underrated podcast, so it's just further encouraging participation in that as well. But my point was that 3 of these 4 people are from the East Coast.
I know.
Only one of them is Midwest, and Jenna's not particularly close to us. Like, it's not like she's hopping to Aberdeen at
she's
a moment's notice.
What's the? I mean, is it 8 hours from Aberdeen?
Probably at least
something like that. So yeah, it's not exactly close.
No, so that's interesting to see how that. But we have seen some people actively. Someone told because one of the things is one of the things is posting a picture on Instagram with a fellow crew member. Mm-hmm. And one of the Big Jory said, well, I got to make sure I go to the gym at the same time as Zach this week so I can get a picture with him.
There
to put
you
on
go.
Instagram. I'm like, oh, that's good. That's then it's like just encouraging the whole, and I owning a Drink Spotter is one. So I know I saw a Drink Spotter order come in that was probably tied to that, and just some various things there. So I think it's fun encouragement, and hopefully everyone has some fun along with it, I think, too.
Yes. And we haven't talked a ton, or we haven't really mentioned it much, but the 15 achievements, you do get the challenge coin, and we don't have those in hand yet, but it will be. I was actually not familiar with this term, Tanner, until you brought it up after we left Elite FTS. We got an Elite FTS challenge coin, and it's just basically a big gold medallion, really, is what it is, with their logo, their branding on it. And so we'll have some of those being made, and that will definitely be one of those things that if you have one of those, they will be rare. There will not be many of those in existence.
Yeah, those will be few and far between, definitely, for people to get those. But it'll be also pretty exciting to see the first person that gets it. I think it was Big Jeff in the Discord said, in July at the Lift Hard, Live Easy Classic, there's probably going to be a lot of people because they'll be able to knock off like 3 on the list that are hitting that 12. So we almost need like a ceremony for, and
a coin ceremony.
Well, it's almost like the existing Hall of Famers need to welcome in all the new ones. Like it's not even, in my mind, it's not even us at that point. It's like, yes, everyone that's, they have the gold jacket, green jacket, who gives a shit? Well, in ours, it's not the jacket. They have the Silly Pint. Mm-hmm. So it'll be all the current Silly Pint members. They welcome in the new member to the hall.
I like to think of that scene from The Sopranos where Tony's getting, sworn into the mafia. It's something similar to that. There's like a blood oath going on here.
Right. So it's not even really us. It's like now that there's 4 of them in there, like it's their responsibility to, welcome in the new members to their club.
I like that.
Yeah.
That's on them to create their initiation ceremony then.
Yeah. We definitely have a lot to talk about related to garage gym progress. I mean, do we have enough time today to I feel like we have like an hour's worth of discussion.
Actually, yes, I could talk about that for so long now. Actually, I think we'll save it. I think we'll save it because I could for real.
We need
for an hour.
We need at least 30 minutes to talk about that.
And I don't want to. Right? Yeah, I don't want to sneak that all in here. But I will say this 100%. And I just mentioned this to you quickly, that the mindset and the way you look at and approach products, content, all of that stuff is so different when you're actually in the market to buy it. I got to see, you have all the stuff in the gym. I got to see it. I got to use it. I got to play with it. I got to everything. Yeah. And I'm aware of it, but you're just kind of like, well, yeah, I get it. This is good. This one's clearly good. This one's clearly good. This is all good stuff. You know that, but then when you're buying it, you're just in a whole different level of research. And I'm also the type of guy that when I like to buy stuff, I like to research it and know exactly why I'm getting something. And man, if there's a hobby that tends to that caters to those tendencies, it is the home gym market.
Absolutely, it is.
So yeah, yes, that'll be a long segment. I have lots of initial insights and observations that I'm sure lots of other people have these same conclusions and these same things to say. I'm sure you do too. But yeah, let's hold off on that one until next week where we can really go all in on it.
Have you set anything up yet though?
I have not set anything up yet.
Okay.
I have to.
So you haven't lifted in the garage?
Well, the big reason is I'm still kind of waiting. Me and Grant have a plates thing in the works here. Yeah. So there's no point in me really setting anything up. It would actually make me more sad to see a gym sitting there with no plates than to see just piles of equipment. So yeah, right now it's just equipment laying on the ground.
Yeah.
But I have ordered a bench. I have ordered. Yeah, I won't say anymore. I won't say anymore. We'll save it for next time. Yeah.
Okay. What's this acronym one in here?
Oh, Red Hot Chili Peppers, RHCP.
Oh, yeah.
I never got to talk about it. I went to, because you went to them. We actually talked about this in the car a little bit on the way to the Arnold.
Right.
But I haven't got to talk about it since I've been back. God, well, when was that? 3 weeks ago or whenever the hell I went to Arizona? It was actually right before the Arnold. So it's just gotten missed and everything. And I got to tell you, man, the Red Hot Chili Peppers concert was so damn good. Like, I actually went into that I'd basically been checked out in the band. For people that don't know, the Red Hot Chili Peppers, I didn't like them for most.
Anyone that doesn't know, they're this band from California. They sing about California.
They've written some hit songs over the years. People have some strong opinions on them. I've gone full circle on them like multiple times in my life, to where growing up, I didn't really care for them. I mean, yes, they were actually really young. I didn't even have an opinion. Like the 90s, I'm 10 years old. Their songs were big. They were on the radio. You heard them.
Yeah.
And I was just aware of them. And then a little bit, when I got more to high school, I was like over them. I didn't really care for them. And then it wasn't until I was probably 22, 23, 24, I had some friends that started getting into playing the guitar, and then by that, they got into Red Hot Chili Peppers and then John Frusciante. And then I went down that same path, and I got so into them to the point where it was in, I think, 2012 or 2011, they played at Bonnaroo. I saw them. That was the reason I went to Bonnaroo, because I want to see Red Hot Chili Peppers. Unfortunately, at that time, they did not have John Frusciante in the band as their guitarist. He was out at that time. And I still stayed a big fan of theirs through probably 2014, 2015. And then I started to get really checked out just because I was kind of over it. Well, John Frusciante comes back into the band a couple years ago. Even then, I didn't pay any attention. I was done with them. I wasn't whatever. And so going into this concert, I was just like, Red Hot Chili Peppers. It'll be fun. But it was more my wife's idea, honestly. She's like, let's go see them. And I just had like, this will be fun. I didn't listen to any Red Hot Chili Peppers songs leading up to the concert. I didn't brush up on anything. And I had fairly low expectations. And the concert blew my freaking mind. It was really what it felt like to me was, hey, we're the Red Hot Chili Peppers, and we're what happens when John Frusciante is not going nuts on the guitar. That is what it felt like. There were so many times. The concert starts with them coming out, and it's John and Flea doing their little jam band thing where they're just going and going. Yeah. And, Chad's playing the drums, and it's building for like 6 minutes. And at one point, my wife, who's not really into guitar music in any way, she does not listen to, like, my wife's choice of music is Rap Caviar on Spotify. That is her playlist. Yeah, she is up on what's going on in hip hop. That's how it's always been. That is her genre of choice. But she looks over into me like 3 minutes into this crazy jam session. She's like, what is going on? Because it was mind blowing to her even. And right from the get go, I thought, this is not what I expected, and I am excited. And that was the whole show was like that. The whole show was just, all right, here's the song that's, kind of maybe a more just chug it along, nothing crazy. And here comes the predictable solo. And it was just like, what is this solo? It's just out of a totally different area. And he's just ripping. The whole show it was nuts. It was so good. Californication, they're known for that. They always do this whole thing where they jam for a little bit in the beginning, John and Flea. And I think that was, because I've looked it up on YouTube, that turned into like this 9-minute song. And then even there was parts where, because the Red Hot Chili Peppers, love them or hate them, you can't deny that they're one of the biggest rock acts ever, actually. How many bands have had that many songs that are that known by people of all ages? That was actually another comment we made. Looking around, we're like, the age group here is crazy diverse. Like, there's obviously college kids
when we went too.
Yes, there's obviously college kids and younger people here, but there's people here that are clearly much older than me even. Like, I would say damn near my parents' age. And that is how long the Red Hot Chili Peppers have been around, since the 80s to today. So it makes sense. But I don't know if I've really ever seen that much of a span at a concert like that.
I
before.
agree. We made that same comment when we went. It was crazy, the span of people that are there. But that also speaks to how widely popular they were for how long, for the duration too.
Definitely. And so they have so many hit songs. Like they didn't even play. I mean, they still have, to me, what are a ton of classic songs. Like the biggest one, they didn't play Under the Bridge. I don't know if they played that.
They didn't play that when I went either.
So they did play.
The only thing they did is before they ever even came on the stage, they played just like I don't know if it's
like
Flea
the intro
or
to it.
They just go, well, no, literally just like that's how you know they're coming when the lights are still dark. He just went like bang, 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 just like the little, and then everyone's like, whoa.
Oh, see, for us, they had this big crazy like orchestra music playing was leading up to the thing, but I don't remember. Maybe I just missed that because it would have been quick enough that I wasn't.
And it might have been like 10 minutes before they even came on. It was just like it was almost just like hey, everyone, get to your seat because like something's going to happen here. And I that's really actually what it triggered to me, that I was like, needed to be stopping, like screwing around and doing other stuff mode. And like, oh no, something's happening here now.
Yeah. So, but with the songs though, so they play all the class, every single song. I didn't listen to any of the new ones. And so it gets to a point where like, 10 seconds in, yep, I don't recognize this song. 10 more seconds goes by. Clearly don't know what this song is. Obviously, it's a new one. All right, they got to stuff a new one in here. And you're like, mentally, I'm thinking, okay, I'm having fun, but I'm clearly more checked out on this. Yeah. And then still out of nowhere, it just kicks over to John Frusciante. And again, I'm like, what the hell is going on here? This guy is just going nuts on the guitar to the point where I had to leave and look up what were those songs that played during those. And now I go listen to those and I'm like, yep, I love these songs now too. These are great. So they really won me back as a fan to the point where this is how extreme it went. I got home. I actually bought a Fender Stratocaster in probably 2010 because I actually did get really into playing guitar for a little bit. And I bought a Fender Stratocaster to play. Probably for real, have not picked it up, taken it out of its case since probably 2013. And I came home. I'm like, I got to touch this damn thing again. And I was playing around on it and having a lot of fun and thinking, I'm going to start playing this. And then reality kind of hit. And I'm like, no. You're too busy to do that.
Yeah.
And
but you can tell it at least would be fun to play.
It would be. And so that's, I am like, this is a bad time right now because I've been gone for basically 2 weeks and then the Arnold happened. So I'm just like so behind on work and Massenomics stuff and all this, where it's like, we just got like a lot of content we're trying to push out, but I can see how possibly in a couple of weeks, I may actually pick it up again because I did have a really good time with it. And I have started listening to way more, like the concert did have an effect on me. I've started listening to way more music. I used to only listen to podcasts to the point where, that was the only thing I listened to. And now I've actually made a habit of at night, podcasts can be a day thing. At night, maybe I'll do more music. And so I have been doing more of that now too. So that was fun. I wanted to say there was one other thing. Oh, okay. At the concert. So this was actually a music festival that we went to. It's called the Innings Fest. And some of the other bands were like Jimmy Eat World and 311 played earlier in the day. Fantagram, a couple other bands that I there was a few on the list I'd never heard of, but the beverage options at this. Do you know what the beverage options were? I mean, it's probably dependent on the venue. I'm assuming you had probably like, I don't know, like pounders or 16-ounce beers or something. I was surprised. The beverage options were 24-ounce cans at this at the venue.
Big can.
That's a big can, and at $15 a pop.
Oof! Holy crap!
When you think about it, you're like,
well, it's 2 beers.
That's 2 beers. I guess a regular beer is about $7. Yeah, I suppose, but like
also a very warm bottom of the can. But if
it gets there, it definitely gets there. But moral of the story is, I drank a lot of $15 beers that night.
Beers,
like a lot. And where they get you is with these festivals now. I'm assuming they all do it is, you have the wristband to get you into the festival. But what you can do is you can link your credit card to the wristband. So
you can
it's like an RFID thing. You put it on, then you got to put in your PIN number just to confirm it's you. So now it's like money
to let all the drunk people do.
Money starts to get even more. Credit cards already make money abstract. Now a wristband with a pin, it's even more abstract. And I spent. I actually was like, really? I drank that many? We spent that much on beer that night? That was a lot. 24-ounce Pacificos. I guess that's just what it takes for a Red Hot Chili Pepper concert, though. That's what it's all about.
Yeah, it's part of the experience.
It is. It is. So it was.
So was it an abbreviated concert then as part of the festival or not?
They played. So they started at, they started at 9:30 and they were done at like 10:50. So it wasn't super. I mean, it wasn't quite an hour and a half. They didn't take any breaks. They might have taken they did the thing where they walk off stage and come back out 30 seconds later, you know. Right. But they never did. Sometimes you go to acts and they might take a couple minute break. They never did that. They were really like, and actually we even made the comment. I said this to everyone we went with the next day. I go, you know what surprised me? And I'd like to hear how this was for you, is they did almost no talking to the crowd. Like it was just song.
Yeah, no, I don't actually even remember any.
Okay, you see, okay, so maybe that's just how they do
it.
They
don't know
don't.
if they did at all.
Yeah, I don't remember hearing them basically.
I remember Flea. You know, for a while it was just the Flea show. I remember that where it was just him and he talked for a little bit, and then it was just like I don't even know if anyone else was hardly out on. It was like everyone's getting a break and he's just like. Talking a little bit and then just going wild, you know, like it wasn't a part of a song or anything. It was just like,
him making noises.
That's the coolest stuff though. Yeah. Like that's like but everyone else may have even actually been taking a legitimate break at that point in time or something.
They definitely could have been. Yes.
Isn't it kind of funny that, mostly just coincidentally that we both went to a Red Hot Chili Pepper concert within like a couple months. But then I was gonna say also, if the two of us walked into a room and if you're like, who here likes the Red Hot Chili Peppers, people would probably be like, yeah, those two guys.
Yeah, those two are the ones that like it. Yeah.
They'd be like, yeah, those guys look like the age and profile too.
Yeah, they fit. They fit it. Yeah. Living up the stereotype. It was really good though. I mean, to the point where I actually looked because they're on tour, and I was just saying I got to see them again. And unfortunately, they play in Minneapolis the same weekend as the Lift Hard Live Easy Classic, which is, I mean, we clearly know where the priorities are there. Yeah. So can't make that one work.
We could get them over here. It's not too far.
Fly him in. Yeah. But they do play in Milwaukee like the week after, and Milwaukee from eastern southeast South Dakota isn't a terrible drive. So I'm still debating the idea in my head. It's I would really love to see him again. It was so good. It was so good. I loved it. And then I had to listen to, because I am obsessed with John Frusciante. He has a 4-part podcast with Rick Rubin where they just talk about how they made the music and all this stuff. And yeah.
Is it called Behind the Music?
It basically is. It's called I think it's called Broken Record or Skipped Record or something. But that was very entertaining as a person that's consumed a lot of John Frusciante media over the years.
It's all pop-up video. It's a long pop-up video.
Yeah. Just fun, wacky facts for 4 straight hours.
John Frusciante was a stapler. That's good. That makes me kind of want to go to some concerts. Are pretty fun.
It was, especially you get outside too in the festival setting. It was
get a couple of them brewskis in you.
Get some brewskis going. And the other thing the last time concert, actually I've been to concerts lately, but the last time I saw the Red Hot Chili Peppers concert, 2011, 2012, the stage technology has changed significantly over the last decade, to the point where a lot of shows now, so many shows you go to, the show is just as much, what's going on the stage is just as much a part of the show as anything. And I've gotten to a lot of like EDM stuff, Diplo, Skrillex,
where that's maybe even
Travis Scott, many of these where it's like that is almost the show at certain parts is what's actually going on at the stage.
A show. Yeah.
Yes, and it's awesome. But when I saw Red Hot Chili Peppers last time, I don't even know at Bonnaroo if they even had screens, and if they did, they were like small and shitty. Now they got these big ass screens where when he's doing a guitar solo, you can watch everything he's doing and just see him going nuts, and that makes you like it even more, because while we were not in the way back, we were actually in a pretty decent spot. You still don't ever see that stuff unless you're right there. But being on the screen, you get to take it in.
That's what I said about that concert too, as the coolest part of the experience. Like there was at times when I was almost just like mesmerized by everything going on. I'm just like, whoa.
we talked about at a certain point, there's like this giant starburst sun exploding thing. And I remember my brain being like, I don't know what's going on right now, man, but this is pretty trippy. And I took a picture of it, and then we were talking about it, and you're like, yeah, there was a point where this thing like kept getting bigger and bigger, and I'm like, dude, yeah, the same thing. Like it was because it was good. It was awesome.
I find myself going through a weird thing though when I'm at an in-person event and there's all the giant screens that you can see way better than actually looking at them, and I'll start to be like, should I be looking at the screen or because at a certain point, am I watching this on TV or should I be watching the
I be watching the 1 inch tall person that I see 200 yards away?
Right. Like what? Oh, how do you feel about that? Just not think about most people just wouldn't think about it.
It really depends. No, it really depends on where you're at.
Right.
And it just depends on the venue so much. So like these, I don't know. We were slightly to the left of where they have what's the concert like the sound engineer people, you know, they're back about halfway and they're always in the middle. We were just to the side of that a little bit. So we weren't in a bad spot, and we were also up kind of on a little natural hill, so we could see so good where we were at. Even Leah, you know, my wife's 5'6", something like that, and she could see just fine, which for a woman going to a concert, a lot of times you get behind a couple of guys like us, and it's like you're just screwed.
Like, oh, great.
But she could see fine the whole time too. So we were in a really good spot to where you could definitely see the guys moving around on stage and everything. But yeah, those screens are just, you can see. I mean, you can literally see what their fingers are doing when they're playing the guitar, and so it's hard not to watch those.
It is, yeah. Okay, so that's concludes our concert portion of this episode, and I am still excited to talk more about the garage gym.
I am too. Also, as a teaser, I feel like I've been. It hasn't even started yet, and I feel like I've already been formally inducted into some brotherhood. The number of DMs and messages I've gotten from people.
People are just pumped about you getting a garage gym.
I told Lee, I'm like, I would have never guessed in a million years how excited people are for me to have a garage gym. I've had you could say an outpouring of support, like I've done something profound with my life.
Like everyone's just like, it'd be like,
one of us.
Right. I always knew we could get them. Yeah. Oh, that is good. It'll be good for Massenomics too. There's just additional content opportunities.
There's a lot of content that'll be coming out of there.
I mean, like as far as like a training vlog, that would be so easy for you to do a training vlog in your garage versus in some commercial gym where you have to be weird.
Yeah. It was. I don't know if it would ever happen in the commercial gym. It would be too weird.
Yes. Let's see. Regardless of where you train, whether it's a garage gym, basement gym, a commercial gym, or a Massenomics gym, you could even train, you know, there's a handful of listeners out there that train at a Massenomics gym that this applies for. But regardless, any of those places, what you could use is Juggernaut AI. Juggernaut has been their trusted training source for helping tens of thousands of athletes reach their goals. From beginners to world champions, Juggernaut AI can help. And I do believe that from beginners to world champions, you can utilize this because it caters the program specifically to the individual. There's a series of questions that ask you when you sign up for the app, and then every day you're inputting more information, and every day it's changing your training, your rep schemes to specifically fit your readiness level, your fatigue level, and then it goes through phasic training where it's hypertrophy, strength training blocks, and then peaking at the end. And if you're doing a powerlifting meet, you know, that peaking kind of leads you perfectly up for that date. So if you've never tried it before, I would just say go get the app. I think you can even do a free 30-day trial or something like that. But if you go to juggernautai.app, that's the website. That's where you can use discount code Massenomics. When you do sign up, that saves you 10%. It ends up making it about $30 a month is all. So very affordable. Thank you, juggernautai.app.
This episode is also brought to you by Swisslink. Since 1995, Swisslink has been importing military-issue goods to the United States and into the hands of those yearning for quality gear at uncompromised prices. Swisslink.com is home to the authentic Wavian fuel cans. They're from the same factory that has been making jerry cans for the NATO forces since the 1940s. They're made from 0.9 millimeters of cold-rolled steel. Wavians are the highest quality gas cans on the market. And the fine folks at SwissLink have also decided that a high-quality water can was needed in their collection as well. So SwissLink developed a stainless steel water can to match. It fits all your wavy and jerry can holders and is made from food-grade 304 stainless steel, so you can trust it to carry drinking water. The cap is knurled for a good grip, and the spout screws into the bottom of the cap for convenient storage. A vent at the top ensures good flow, and the can has the same 3-handle configuration as its fuel counterpart. Pick up your wavy and fuel can or any of the other great items from the SwissLink collection today at swisslink.com and enjoy a 15% discount by entering code MASS at checkout. That's MASS to save 15% at swisslink.com. Thank you, SwissLink.
Shout out to supporting member Nathan Thomas out of Watertown. He picked up a new preacher curl bench for me that'll be going.
Oh, I saw that picture.
So, yeah. So he's got that in Watertown, probably in his sweet gym set up. And actually, there was a little crew meetup there the other day. Big Nathan Thomas and Big Jake Heinrich were training together there. And I said, "What the hell? Where's our invite? We could do a gym tour of Nathan Thomas's gym.
We absolutely could. He's got a lot in there.
Yeah, well, have to consider that sometime.
Actually, that is the halfway point for both of us.
That is.
So that wouldn't be that hard to do.
No, and I do have to get that preacher curl bench at some point in time too.
Okay, well,
we already had one. This is just an upgrade. I don't know if you remember the kind of the.
Yeah, I didn't know if something happened to it or.
Well, it's just always been kind of a hunk of junk, and this one came up used as a.
And it's a little more robust.
Yeah, it's a little more commercial quality, I would say. So thank you, Nathan Thomas. Your services have not gone unnoticed.
It was in Watertown, actually, though?
Yeah, it was used for sale in Watertown. They had a Smith machine that I consider buying if they weren't charging like triple what someone would pay used for that.
Oh, so they wanted a premium for it?
$3,000.
Oh!
I'm not buying a used Smith machine. Like, I want to just... out of comment, just a courtesy, just be like, yeah, no one's going to buy that from you in Watertown, South Dakota for $3,000.
Is anyone going to buy that used for $3,000?
No.
Is that what the...
No. I mean, they're very expensive new, but that doesn't, that's kind of irrelevant. I did get a new postcard in the mail this week. I don't know if you saw this.
Is this the one on your story? Yes. I enjoyed that one a lot.
It's Freakonomics.
The Massenomics Freakonomics collab.
Yeah, and on the back it says a bunch of ... and the twins, of course. A rogue lifter explores the hidden side of nothing. Tanner Baird and Tommy DeFay.
It's got my attention. I'd read that book.
Yeah. Tommy, where do they find you at?
You can find me at Tomahawk_D.
You can follow me at Tanner_Baird, but just please make sure to follow Massenomics at Massenomics.
See ya.